Hey everybody, it's ToonGal 12 or Cartoon 12 or Casey, whatever you want to call me, back for a brand new Let's Watch video. So, there is a channel that I really like listening to. They upload videos usually like once a month or so, and I'll put a link to the description in the description box below this video so you can check it out for yourself. But this channel is called the Batcave Podcast, and if you're into the 1966 Adam West Batman TV show, or just any older classic television to, like, just in general, then that'll be a really good channel for you to check out, because at least once a month, this gentleman does a podcast with a lot of his other friends where he has analyzed every single episode of the 1966 Batman and any related media, like the Filmation Batman, the Batman 66 comic series that has been out recently in the past recent years. And now that he's kind of pretty much been done with Batman, I guess he figured, he's like, where do I go next? So now he's been starting to analyze other pieces of media that have either have been inspired by, or might even be kind of spoofing the 66 Batman TV show. And through the podcast, I discovered this little show, and recently he's actually been now doing an episode-by-episode analysis of this show. And this is one show that I never even, before I saw the podcast, I never even knew this show existed at all. And it must be obscure, because when I asked my parents about it, they grew up during this whole time period, and even they didn't quite know about it. Although then again, back then, not everybody got the same channels, so maybe that's why, I don't know. But in the 70s, there was a production company called Sid and Marty Croft, and for at least a good chunk of time, they practically ruled the airwaves when it came to Saturday morning TV and just programming for kids in general. You'll know their works from Land of the Lost, Sigmund and the Sea Monster, H.R. Puffin stuff, all those shows. Well, apparently there was also a variety show that Sid and Marty Croft produced, which had all these different, not necessarily interconnected, but they had these different segments on them. Some were apparently musical segments, some of them were comedy segments. If you remember this show in the 90s on Nickelodeon, I vaguely remember it called The Roundhouse. It's almost sort of like that. It's like a variety show, but for kids. And at least from what I could learn about with the production, it was almost like they kind of just threw things at the wall and just saw whatever stuck. And so one of the segments of this show was what we're going to be watching today, called Electra Woman and Dyna Girl. And apparently this is definitely heavily based off of the Adam West TV show. And looking around on YouTube, it looks like it's been kind of hard to find some clear footage of this. I'm not sure where the Batcave Podcast is streaming this, that they're somehow able to find quality footage of this show at all. If there is a DVD version of it, I haven't found it. But each of these segments, each of these episodes, even though the episode itself is a half hour, they would break the segments up into 15-minute, segments. So they'd play one half of it during one episode, and then the next week you would have to come back to see the conclusion to the story. And keep in mind, this is a segment of a much bigger show going on. This wasn't just, it wasn't like Electra Woman and Dyna Girl had the whole show to themselves. This was just one singular segment in amongst maybe 6 or 7 other ones. So can you imagine just how much good memory kids had to have to be able to remember this one little segment in amongst these other ones and then come back to see the conclusion to it? I don't know, but it seems like on YouTube, a lot of the people who have managed to upload some of the episodes they just had both segments together in one video, which is what I was able to find. And of all the ones that I sort of previewed ahead of time, I only watched maybe a minute or two of each one just to see how good the quality was. This was at least the clearest, like, best video quality that I could find of this episode. And oddly enough, this was the second episode that the Bad Cave podcast talked about, so I'm now about to experience it for myself. So I just thought to myself, hey, it sounds superhero related. I like 60s Batman. If it's anything like that, then I want to see it. So here we go. This is Electra Woman and Dyna Girl, and the episode is called Glitter Rock. So let me get geared up here, and here we go. 3, 2, 1, play. Ooh. It's like the Johnny Quest opening. Oh, jeez. What? Okay, A+ theme song.
In a seedy, rundown section of the city, a theater, its stage once graced by the superstars of days long past, stands forgotten and abandoned.
Okay, definitely has the,
sounds of laughter
like,
and
Batman-ish
applause,
narration.
only with dusty cobwebs and an oppressive silence. Silence? Is that music, or is it merely the echo of past triumphs?
Alright, it's definitely got a good atmosphere going here, kind of spooky looking. And that atmosphere just got ruined. What the heck?
You are indeed.
Oh my god!
Did you say something, Little Rock? Cotton in your ears again.
Hey man, I really dig
Oh.
this gig you're planning. But you know, the last time I heard
Oh
those
my
freaky
eyes!
chords, I couldn't
They're
stop myself from
burning!
walking into a wall and almost
Oh my
busting
god,
my
look at
nose.
that outfit!
Must have been my rendition of straighten yourself up tall and bump into the wall.
No, don't
You know,
don't
you
don't
can
do
almost
don't
make
do
people
pelvic
do
thrust,
anything with
please.
those
No.
guitar, ranges
No.
of yours, huh?
Right on, sideman. And this is going to be the gig of all gigs.
Can we
My
please
new
film him from the torso
number
up,
one
please?
Single.
Take over the world.
King Alex the
We definitely got the
Tenth
Joker
Carnival
laugh going
is
on.
welcomed by Laurie, his former classmate.
This is really nice of you, Alex. I mean, coming all the way back to the States just to go to our high school reunion.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it, Laurie. And besides, it'll give me a chance to see some really terrific rock. There's not very much of that back in Tornborg, you know.
Readout buzzer, huh? Timescope is picking up on something.
Oh yeah, this is Frank. From what I heard, Frank is basically like their Alfred. Okay, why would you do a
This journey is the
transition
key
like
of
that for a
Tornborg.
scene that was only
Whoever
like
possesses
5
it
seconds
rules.
long?
Can you imagine what would happen if that fell into the wrong hands?
Gee, I wonder.
Alex, your room is upstairs on the right. Why don't you go ahead and unpack?
Wow,
and
look
you
at
and I
that
will check out the
house.
rock concerts for you.
Thanks a lot,
I
Laurie.
mean,
Just
okay,
take a
I
minute.
know this is
Okay, good.
70s, but like, did anyone ever paint their house like that?
Hello, Frank. Hi, Frank.
Okay, that was kind of a cool effect for the elevator, because I doubt that
I
was a
want
real
you to have
elevator. It
this
was just
back
like a
to your
light that they put
I
down.
hope you won't need it, but you see, I am concerned about the safety of your young King Alex. A lot of people would like to get their hands on the key of Tornborg.
Tornborn? Tornbog?
Ah, for you, your Royal Highness.
Okay, so we have this
special
very important
invitation.
key that we need to
Thank you,
keep
but
safe,
invitation?
and
Who-
you're
who
just
knows
gonna
what I'm-
blatantly wear it around your neck. That is so safe.
You are hereby commanded to attend a private rock concert, especially for His Royal Highness.
Well, that doesn't
Command
sound
performance?
suspicious at all.
Isn't that supposed to be the other way around?
And this guy with this guy here, the bad guy here, he almost looks kind of like 70s Doctor Strange from that old Doctor Strange movie.
Pulverize 10-ton boulders, knock down concrete walls. This small device can also be pinpointed on small objects. We'll just insert this in the Electra comp.
And that's why I'm going to entrust it to just a reporter and her kid's sidekick.
Then punch up your basic program with a variable Z warp. Now keep your eye on the glass.
He got the techno babble from Star Trek. Ooh.
Very impressive, Professor.
Terrific. It has a lot of impact.
Or is it Memorex?
For a concert you'll never forget.
Okay, well at least he's covered by the guitar now.
Courtesy of Glitter Rock.
Have been invited to a rock concert. Private, just for me. One of the fringe benefits of being a king. See you later, Alex. Glitter Rock. Right.
This is what happens. You leave the guy alone for 3 seconds.
I'll get crime scope on search alert.
Like a
Why did he sound drunk there? He's like, I'll get on crime search alert. Listen to that again. He sounded drunk.
I'll get crime scope on search alert.
Oops, Sailor Moon time. Okay, she's doing that move that Robin does when he punches his fist, so yep, there's that.
Put the electric car on direct drive and we're on our way.
I really like the set here, though. And even though it's no Batmobile, I do like their car. Very futuristic looking car there. Gotham City, 14 miles. This music sounds like they just discovered a synthesizer and they're still learning how to use it.
You're gonna have to take me back.
Good day, your royal high, dude. You can't split now. The concert's just about to begin. Like, now.
And so the Eagle concert begins. And the young king of Torrenborg finds the music of the diabolical Glitterock spellbinding.
Ugh! Are we sure they weren't doing any drugs when they made this?
Your royal high, dude. The key, high, dude. The key.
That's the 70s for you.
With the
Always
king under
tripping.
his trance, Glitterock has struck the first blow in his diabolical plan to control the world.
Sure hope the curtain hasn't gone up yet.
Yeah, or could be curtains for King Alex.
Let's go.
I guess that must have been a real theater that they're just using, because that looked like a real street. It wasn't just a set.
Chick, come on, Glitter Rock, let's split.
May I have the key, please?
Sure, Dyna girl. How about the key of C?
You also notice that they were wearing their Electrocomms back when they were their normal selves. It's this big chunky thing and like nobody's noticing it.
Are you all right?
Oh, Electra woman. Dyna girl,
He's okay.
Oh, come on. He doesn't recognize them at all. Like, look, at least Batman and Robin had some kind of mask to cover them, but like this,
We'll explain this
and at least Clark Kent wears glasses, but like, come on. Whoa, did you see how those steps were wobbling there?
Thank you, sensor scan.
Now let's get him.
He sounds almost like a cross between the Joker and Frank Gorshin's Riddler a little bit.
What's happening? Your Electra comps. You use your Electra comps.
And I love how every time there's a scene change, they can't just cut. They have to do the Batman swirl every time. Oh look, we got the Dutch angles too.
Right, but it's only the first part of the gig. Now, I turn on the
Okay, that was kind of cool, the way they had the camera tilted and turned like that. That was kind of neat.
one that will leave a lasting impression on them.
Electra woman, your Electra comp is beating back an alert. Stop!
Duck, Dyna girl. Sneaky. And
He's just like
electrified.
Q. It's like he just magically has the right gadget they need for the
Glad we didn't find
situation.
Electro woman. Dyna girl.
Stop, King Alex.
What's wrong?
Electra woman.
Unless I miss my guess, those things come in pairs.
Dummy.
The walls are moving.
Now, take it easy. Panic is one thing that's not going to help us now. I think there may be a way out of this trap.
Our new Electra vibe, right?
Right. It should shatter the wall.
We're not getting full power.
Or failing that, you could just use a butter knife to cut through the cardboard slab that's coming towards you.
The walls, Pine Skull. What about the wall?
It's useless, Electra chick. Your fantastic, terrific far-out crime scope can't help you now. The walls are made of a special metal, glitteranium. My own formula, baby.
Glitteranium?
Glitter Rock, I command you to give me back my key.
The royal dude commands me to return his key.
As the clown prince of crime, I decline.
Crime Scope will analyze your glitter alloy and get through it.
No way, Electra chick. Those walls are gonna keep moving in and hit with a big bang. Music to my ear.
It looks like we're in for a tight squeeze.
You're going to be too.
This is just like the ending to that first Catwoman episode of Batman where he was stuck in between the walls with the spikes that were coming through. But at least those walls looked like they were thick and had weight to them and not just like a piece of drywall. And time for part 2. So yeah, from here on out, you would have had to wait till next week to find the next part. But thanks to you two, we could just watch it at once.
Talk about Electra tight. Now I know what a sardine feels like.
Crime Scope isn't getting us enough power. We've only got one chance to get out of here. If it works.
Well, what is it?
Use the Electra vibes.
But they didn't work before.
On the walls, no.
We got bad
But what
vibes,
about
man.
right there?
Electra smart. The electric eye mechanism leads to the device that triggered the moving wall.
Right. And if we blast it, maybe, well, just maybe, we can stop the walls.
That sounds
Or
great,
maybe
Electro,
we
but
could
does
just
your electric
blast
comp
it
have enough
first
power?
and then explain it later instead of wasting time.
Oh, I dig this gig, Glitter Rock. I dig it.
All right, man, my man, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. After all, this is the final gig for the Electra chicks and the royal dude.
We can just feed them more power. Crime Scope, more power.
If only I could push just a few more buttons.
Electra terrific! We made it!
And
that
there
was a
goes HAL 9000.
Wow.
Hey, Glitter Rock, they're splitting.
Forget them, Sideman. I've got what I want. The precious key of Torenborg.
Right, Glitter Rock. I mean, man, you are now a majesty, a real royal dude. I mean, you are the king of Torenborg. Now we can rip off that whole
Torenborg?
country.
What? Torenborg? Like I don't need Torenborg, Sideman.
Like, huh? With this.
And my super terrific far-out guitar, I'll be head honcho of the entire world!
First free bird, tomorrow, the world!
Frank, King Alex is safely back at Laurie's house.
Have you managed to relocate Glitter Rock?
He's safely
Crime
back
Scope is working
upstairs.
on it, but there's only one sample of teronium in this country.
The crystal and the key of Torenborg.
Correct, Dyna girl. Crime Scope has picked up some energy impulses.
The abandoned theater. Well, he never
Does
left.
Frank never leave
I
this
wonder why.
place?
Come on, Dyna girl. Intermission is over.
It would have been neat if they made a comic that did like a crossover with Batman and Electra Woman.
One thing puzzles me, Dyna girl.
Oh man, look at that green screen.
Well, Glitter Rock has the key. What good is it going to do him in the theater?
Hey, Glitter Rock, if that Teronium rock is so important to you, what did you do with it?
Like I put it when it's gonna do me the most good. Cast your tired old orbs on this side, man.
Hey, far out, Glitter Rock! But what kind of trip is this, man?
What kind of trip is this, man? This is a space trip. We're about to launch a satellite.
Like a what?
Whatever he's up to, I only hope we're in time.
Okay, now see, they used actual footage there, so why did they green screen it before? Couldn't they have just 80-yard over it like they did in that scene?
Kick in the entire world. And it's going to help me to launch my satellite.
Yeah?
That way, I can beam down fantastic music and put a spell over the entire world like this.
Hey, Glitter Rock! That's great! I mean, the whole world, ours to rip off!
Now you've got it, Sideman. And when it's like 60 and counting, down. 60, 60, 59.
And so the villainous duo prepare to launch their satellite.
55.
Love the
And
energy they
Electra
have.
Woman and Dyna Girl stop them in time.
36, 35, 34.
Hey, Glitter Rock!
It's cool, Sideman. I'll just give them one of my fantastic private concepts.
So he has his advanced technology to launch a satellite into space, but he has to do the countdown himself.
I just gotta help get that key to Torenberg back.
Considering that you fell into a trap and then you got the superheroes into a trap, I think you've helped enough, pal.
The first number is called You're Mine. Oh, right on, Electra chicks. You're doing terrific. Just don't look down. Unless you want to. Nothing to worry about, right? Just sway to the music.
Hey, Glitter Rock, they're snapping out of it.
No way, Sideman. I've changed my chord progression just enough to let them know they're in big trouble. They'll never snap out of it in time. Hold on!
Hey, Glitter Rock, there they go.
Electra degravitate.
It was Glitter Rock's weird music. You were
Bad
under a
green
spell.
screen to the rescue.
Electra, wow. If his stuff ever makes it to the top 40, we're all in big trouble.
Well, what are you doing here? And how did you...
Electra Woman, Dyna Girl.
Yeah, we're okay.
Good. Okay, now we're receiving a series of telemetered energy impulses. It's almost as if
Also, I
Bristol
just
was
hit the
surrounded by
liquor
some
cabinet
sort of
again.
space warfare.
Electra, wow. You don't think...
No time to think. We've got to find him. Activate your sensor scan. And you stay put.
No, I've got to go with you this time. It's my own duty to my own country.
I think we should be a little bit more concerned about the entire world.
I'll give credit where it's due. At least he actually did something useful for once.
Hurry, Glitter Rock, hurry, man. They're heading right to the pad.
Let them come. 6, 5, 4. They'll never catch me now. 3, 2.
Hold it, Glitter Rock.
This is why you never have a countdown for your evil schemes. Like, if you got it ready, just launch it. Like that. Come on, just launch it.
It's too It's too late. It's too late. It's too Hey, fans. It's time for a news flash. My teronium-powered satellite is about to put the entire
What the
world
heck is happening
under
right now?
Glitter Rock's control.
Like terrific, Glitter Rock. I mean, talk about making it to the top of the charts. You're gonna make it to the top of the world.
On top of the world,
That
Ma!
satellite before it goes into orbit. King Alex, you stay here. Keep Dyna Girl's Electrocom trained on those 2 sour notes. Let's go.
This is going to be a royal pleasure.
Oh, they're actually entrusting a civilian with their gadgets and stuff? That's different. I can't remember Batman ever really doing that. Did you see the way that one car in the background slowed down? I think he must have just been a regular person who was just driving by and just saw this and went like, hey, what's going on?
I don't know, Dyna girl.
Oh my god, look up in the top right-hand corner.
Frank, we're in
You
trouble.
can actually
We're not
see
doing
where
well.
the green screen got cut off. Like they didn't put the
You've got it.
they didn't center the camera right.
Putting you on Super Electra Boost.
That's about all we can do. I hope we make it before it's too late.
Super Electra Boost activating.
There it is. It's going into orbit.
Come on, Electroplane. Just a little
Come
bit
on,
closer
Electroplane,
and we'll use the
angle this camera so we look like we're actually in the sky.
Overload.
I will give him this though, Batman never went into space, at least not on the live-action show. Although if you saw Return of the Cape Crusaders, they did have a way of going into space.
Sorry, Glitter Rock, but this is one song that will never be a golden oldie.
With the Turonium crystal replaced, young Alex has had the key of Tornborg put on permanent display at the National Museum and called for the country's first democratic election to elect that country's leaders. That's an excellent story, girls.
Thank you, Frank. And we made sure that Glitter Rock and Sideman got their complimentary copies at the state prison.
Hey, that reminds me, Frank. I want you to know I didn't forget.
Forget what?
I promised you a picture of Glitter Rock.
Wah, wah, wah.
This too?
And much like every cartoon, we end with laughing.
That certainly will, too.
Electra terrific.
Okay, pause. We're done. Okay, well, that was definitely something. But yeah, if you're into the 60s Batman at all, you can definitely see how it was inspired, from the Batcave to the Electra Cave, or Electra Base, I think it was called. Their heavy reliance on gadgets, the fact that there's a superhero with a kid sidekick, the sidekick's making, instead of, holy this, instead it's Electra, wow, Electra this, Electra that. The villain, while his costume will be burning my retinas for the next week or so, he definitely had some Joker and sort of Frank Gorshin Riddler vibes going on. And I really like the sets, though. Even though you could definitely see that, they were a little bit shoddy, I mean, at least Electra Base actually looked like a pretty cool, headquarters that they had going on there. To my knowledge, I don't think they ever did an origin episode at all for why these Electra Woman and Dyna Girl, how they came to be or anything. And the way the television was back then, I don't think they ever really gave any explanations at all. But at least, for how, arguably cheap a production this was or looked, at least it seems like the actors looked like they were having fun, and I actually did have a lot of fun watching this. I mean, yeah, it's cheesy, it's corny, but I got a lot of entertainment out of it. And hopefully, maybe somewhere out there, there's a complete set of these that they'd be at least a little bit more readily available to watch. But if you're into the 60s Batman show and you're looking for something similar, then I highly recommend checking this out. I mean, if you're into that sort of cheesy old school humor, then you'll probably like this. But yeah, that was Electra Woman and Dyna Girl, and now that I've seen an episode, I actually kind of want to hunt down some of the other ones and see what some of the other adventures are about. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you liked it and want to see more, be sure to subscribe, and I'm always taking suggestions for new things that you might want me to react to. Until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and bye-bye.
Summon to Electra Base.